Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Inside the Lunchbox with your boy, Chef Mac. I know I haven't produced a podcast last week. Had to take care of some business, but everything is good. Everything is golden, and we're back. So, we have to finish our series. We have to finish our mother sauces. So we went over Espanol, we went over bechamel, we still had to go over tomato, we had to go over velouté, and we have to go over my favorite, hollandaise. So, let's get started. Once again, welcome back to Inside the Lunchbox. But before we start going over today's topic, which is a velouté sauce, let's just talk. What happened in the past week? Well, let me tell you what happened in the past week. Got the chance to eat some great food. Went to go visit my family in San Antonio, Texas. Spent some time with my grandmother. Spent some time with my mom. My grandmother wanted some barbecue. So she decided to go out and get some barbecue. My grandmother is 80-something. Don't know how old she really is. I think she's 85, 84. She still looks good. She still gets around. I love that woman with all my heart. So she was sitting there and she was like, I want some barbecue. I was like, Grandma, where you want barbecue at? She's like, I don't know. I just want some barbecue. And you know, when your grandmother wants something, they want it, right? So I just want some ribs. I want something with some meat on it. So we decided to take her to Black's Barbecue in New Braunfels, Texas. Now, let me tell you about Black's. Black's is a great restaurant. The food is great. The barbecue is good. The macaroni and cheese, to me, is phenomenal. The only problem that I have with Black's Barbecue is that sometimes they're inconsistent with their meat. Sometimes I get the brisket that's seasoned very well. Sometimes I get the brisket that is over seasoned and it's just so much pepper inside the brisket. And then some days the rub on the brisket is phenomenal. But overall, I could say that Black's Barbecue is definitely a great place to go and eat. So if you're anywhere in New Braunfels, I think they have one. I can't remember the next city up from New Braunfels north. They have a Black's there. They're a very tasty restaurant. The only problem I have is their food is sometimes inconsistent, and some of their desserts is to die for. But definitely go out and try it. In 1931, Black's family moved all of their belongings, including their family cattle, from East Texas to Lockhart, Texas. This is the guy that started Black's Barbecue. Edgar Black Sr. started Black's Barbecue. It's also the oldest original barbecue joint in Texas that has the same original recipes and nothing's changed. I guess you could say the headquarters for Black's Barbecue is in a little town called Lockhart, Texas. Definitely, if you're in Lockhart, Texas, go check it out. I'm pretty sure the barbecue up there is phenomenal. But yeah, so go back to my grandmother's. We go to Black's Barbecue, and I didn't know she was gonna buy it for everybody. So she comes in the house. Y'all come eat. I'm like, Grandma, what are you talking about? Come eat. I got some barbecue. I'm like, Grandma, you bought barbecue for everybody? She like, I sure did. I got brisket. I got sausage. Now, realize we just ate probably about an hour to 2 hours ago. And I'm like, oh man, I'm not quite hungry yet. But she insisted, y'all better come eat this barbecue. I got all this barbecue. Y'all better come eat it. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll give me a little piece of barbecue. My son comes in there, it's barbecue. Get me some brisket. She got brisket, macaroni and cheese, beans. And then, you know, here in Texas, our barbecue comes with pickles, jalapenos, onions, and barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on ribs, we'll talk about that on a later podcast. The debate on should you have barbecue on the ribs or should it be on the side for dipping. Me personally, I like a good dry rub because I want to taste the flavor of the ribs and then dip it inside the barbecue sauce. But that's just me. Everybody's different, so we'll talk about it one day. But anyway, she comes in, sits down, and she has so much barbecue. And I'm like, Grandma, why do you get so much? I thought you just get food for yourself. She's like, no, I'm getting it for everybody. And we just ate. So I sucked my gut in, grabbed me some mac and cheese, grabbed me some brisket, grabbed me a little bit of sausage, sat down and ate. And it was really, really tasty. But the reason why I enjoyed it so much because I got to sit down and enjoy barbecue with my grandmother. And my son got the chance to sit down and eat barbecue with his great-grandmother. So it was definitely a memorable, did I say that right? Memorable time for him and also for me to see my son sit down and eat barbecue with or eat food with his great-grandmother. So that was really, really a great time. Of course, we sat down, we watched some TV, had a little family time. But with that being said, I love you, Grandma. I don't know what I'd do without you. I remember, man, she used to cook some of the good soul food. We used to eat soul food for breakfast, like fried pork chops, scrambled eggs. Oh man, toast with jam. Man, look, her oxtails are to die for. Oxtails, my favorite dish to this day of hers, and I gotta get her to make it real soon, is oxtails, fried cabbage, and macaroni and cheese and cornbread. It's simple. It's a simple dish, but, well, the oxtail's not simple, but it's just regular, pretty much steamed, boiled cabbage, what we call fried cabbage, not really fried. Fried cabbage, macaroni and cheese, which I'm pretty sure she doesn't make the sauce from scratch, but macaroni and cheese, her baked macaroni and cheese, either one, don't matter, baked macaroni and cheese, and her cornbread. And I'm pretty sure her cornbread is not made from scratch. And again, I don't know. I never went in and saw my grandmother cook. I just know that being a kid, I was always outside. And this one time I was staying with her, I was always outside, either in the backyard or the front yard. And I never went in the kitchen while she was cooking. At the time, I didn't really have the love for food that I do now. But all I remember is just sitting in the house or coming in the house and I'm just smelling this goodness, this all over the house. This smells fantastic. And we go in there in the morning, like she'll tell us, all right, time to come eat. And I'm thinking, either sausage, eggs, or something like that. Man, we got fried pork chops, we got scrambled eggs, we got sausage. Your breakfast was your lunch, lunch, and your dinner, all wrapped up in one. It's crazy how that worked. So we'll sit down in there. We'll sit down after I got my breakfast, sit down and eat, and I'm looking at don't forget the grits. Almost forgot the grits. Pork chops and the grits, eggs, toast. But yeah, so we'll sit down at the table, and I'm sitting up here looking at this food. And I'm like, oh my God, there's grits, there's pork chop, there's eggs. And I'm sitting here like, yes, I love you, Grandma. Yes. And I would just tear this food up. Breakfast was my favorite meal of the day. I would look forward to it. Even her dinners would be freaking amazing. But also have foods that we don't like. And mine's was vegetables. I wasn't a big vegetable kid back in the day. She would cook, I would come to the table, and my grandfather, this was his rule. You can eat as much as you want as long as you eat everything on your plate. You can go back for firsts, seconds, and thirds, But make sure that if you go back, you eat everything on your plate because you're not going to waste the food. When I say he was very a stiffler on that, I remember sitting countless hours at a table over green beans, over broccoli. I'll be finished with everything else, and I'm sitting at this table for an hour and a half trying to eat 4 string beans. 4 string, all I had to do was put it in my mouth and swallow it, but I was so reluctant to eat these vegetables that I didn't like. I didn't like green beans. I didn't like lima beans. I didn't like, I like broccoli. It was some other veggies that I like. Oh, I didn't like cooked carrots at the time. So you know how you got the mixed veggies where you get the lima beans, the corn, and the green beans and all that stuff mixed together. Well, I used to eat all the corn and stuff out of it and leave the lima. But when my grandfather was there, you didn't get up off that table. That table, you sat there until all that food was gone. And when you got seconds, you go get seconds, but you better eat all of it. And it was some great times growing up. I remember sitting at the table, talking to my grandfather, talking to my mom. I was a little kid, so it wasn't really a grown folks conversation, but it was more so eat your food. You better eat that cornbread. You don't drink. You better not drink any of that Kool-Aid or any of that soda before you eat. You eat all your food first. Can I get some water? Eat your lima beans. You get you some water. So we had to eat all our food before we even really drank our drink. We had to eat a portion of our food. So growing up, I was very lucky to make sure that I ate right. I was forced to eat my vegetables. But to this day, now I'm 39 years old, and I can tell you that there's probably not a vegetable I wouldn't eat. Or if I haven't tried it, I would try it. I'm a real big broccoli person. I love broccoli. I'll eat the lima beans. I'll eat cooked carrots. I'll eat corn. Man, look, if you put it in front of me, it's gone. It's gonna get eaten. So, but yeah, I just remember as a kid that food was very important. Family time was very important. Sitting down and eat and conversing with your family. He's a retired Army veteran, E7, and I remember traveling with him to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and staying with him. I don't know if we stayed inside the barracks or we stayed in a house. All I remember is that I got there and I went to the barracks and I got the chance to meet different soldiers, and I remember a guy giving me a 35 millimeter camera. I don't know where that camera is to this day, but I remember him giving me a camera, and I took that camera everywhere. I don't know if it was one of the disposable ones or what. I just remember, no, I think it was a real camera because I had to buy film to put in there. Yeah, so I went with him because he was getting ready to retire. My grandmother stayed at the time they lived in Colorado. So she stayed in Colorado, and he went to Fort Sill to go and retire from Fort Sill, because what happened was, I'm pretty sure that they lived in Fort Sill, and she moved to Colorado for his retirement, and he came back, time and time again because he's getting ready to retire in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. So I went with him back to Fort Sill, and I remember we're going to Popeyes, and once again, this guy is, you're going to eat all your food. If I buy it, if I cook it, you're going to eat it. Sit down. Chicken, I've never not liked chicken. He ordered chicken, and he ordered red beans and rice. Red beans and rice. At the time, he was like, I ate my fries, eat your red beans and rice. And I tasted those red beans and rice, and oh my God, I thought it was the end of the world. I literally thought this was the worst thing that anybody could make. It had rice in it. It had beans, and it looked like the beans were inside a soup. So I didn't know what it was at the time. Now I do, man. You give me some red beans and rice, I'll slap some hot sauce on that. Get some of that that hot sauce that Popeyes have, drench that, man, look, red beans and rice, one of my favorite dishes. But back then, sitting at that table with my grandfather, and I refused to eat red beans and rice. And we would not leave from that table until I ate those red beans and rice. And it was a small, so it was probably like 2 spoonfuls, if anything, of red beans and rice. And he looks at me, he's like, "You're gonna eat those red beans and rice?" I'm like, "Grandpa, I don't like it." He's like, "You eat those red beans and rice right now." So I'm putting it in my mouth and I'm just gagging every time. To this day, I love red beans and rice. Red beans and rice from Popeyes, I'll go get a large, give me a biscuit, crumble up the biscuit, put it in there, put some hot sauce on it, keep it moving. But yeah, that was my grandfather. Retired Army. I really don't know what he did in the military. He was a mechanic. I think he was a mechanic. So he was a retired mechanic, Army mechanic. He retired from Fort Sill. I love that guy. Definitely made me in who I am today as far as eating vegetables, because I remember eating vegetables as a kid was really, really hard. But he made me eat the vegetables. So I want to say thank you, Grandpa, for letting me eat the veggies, or making me eat the veggies. So with that being said, let's move right along. Let's see, is there anything else about my grandmother? She's a very sweet person. She's always, you know what, this woman, I'm 39 years old, and she always tries to sneak me some money. Like, she'll call me, she's like, Chris, come here. And I'll go up to her and say, "What's up, Grandma?" And she'll try to slide a $20 in my hand. $20, $10, $30. And then tell me, go. Don't tell nobody I gave it to you. Yeah, when I was a kid, that was good. I loved it. That was one of the highlights of growing up, knowing that, one, I could go to her if I wanted to get out of a spanking. Like, if my mom was there and my grandmother was there and we're all in the room or whatever, and if I knew my grandmother was around, I remember running to my grandmother and telling her that my mom was going to spank me. And she was like, "Don't whoop that boy." I'm like, "He was being bad." "You better not whoop that boy." I remember getting out of some spankings because of going to my grandmother, and I was like, yes. But yeah, she used to always slide $20 in my hand, $5, $10, all while I was growing up. 39 years old, and she still tries to do it to this day. The last week, Grandma, I hope you're not going to listen to this. Well, you know what? Yeah. So last week, she tried to slide $20 in my hand. I took it like I've always done for the past, I don't know, man, since I got older, I'll do it. And sometimes I do forget, because what I'll do is she'll slide it in my hand, and I gradually slide it back into her pocketbook. So, Grandma, thank you for the $20. Thank you for the money that you have always given me, but I've always slid it back into your pocketbook. Not a purse, a pocketbook. I remember one time she tried to give me $20 inside the car. She looks back at me and she whispers, "Hey, here, take this." And I'm like, "Grandma, no, I don't need." She's like, "Boy, you don't take this." And she gave me that look, and her lip perked up like I just got in trouble. Like, I'm getting in trouble for not taking the money. Like, what is, okay, I take it, give me the money. So I took it, and as she was getting out the door, I dropped it right back in her purse. But yeah, I almost got in trouble for not taking $20. Those are some great times. I love that woman. So, all right, so let's get back to business. Let's talk about a velouté. The velouté sauce is a mother sauce, French cuisine, and that's what we're here for. Talk about a mother sauce. So, a velouté is a roux-based sauce with chicken broth or fish or anything not beef. So a velouté sauce, also known as a blonde sauce, is actually a bechamel prepared by using a stock. This is what I think. Now, if any French chef will probably tell you something different. So this is just my view on it and how I see it. But it's prepared by Houston stock. It is also one of the main 5 classic French cuisine sauces that are also known as the mother sauces. The mother sauces are those sauces that can be further used into making a wide number of other sauces. So basically, a mother sauce is a root, the foundation, and you can make different variants of this sauce. The term velouté is derived from a French adjective, velours, that implies, which means velvet. So if you imagine what velvet looks like, that's why they called it the velouté. The origin of the velouté sauce was identified the first time in the 19th century by Antoine Crema in his popular cookbook named The Art of French Cooking. Now, this guy named these sauces, but they actually become a mother sauce until later. The sauce was named as the first of the mother sauces of the French cuisine. Later, a French chef named Auguste Escobar categorized these sauces. So he took the sauces and categorized them into a tomato, hollandaise, and all the other sauces, right? Velouté sauce, main ingredients is oil, flour, and you can always, you know what? So these sauces are not that hard to make, except for Espanol. It's a process. But with the velouté, you could buy all the ingredients from your local grocery store, and you could do it with the fish stock. You could do it with chicken, and then you make your sauces from there, right? But when you do your roux, it's going to be a blonde color. So imagine a blonde is a light sauce. It's going to be not thick, not too watery, but you do have different variants of the velouté, where some cases you may go somewhere and their velouté is a little bit more liquidy. I like my sauce to be the same consistency, which is a nappe, which is it coats the spoon or it coats whatever you're eating with, right? So that's how I like my velouté. So a velouté is your flour. You're going to make your roux, your oil, or your butter, and you're going to make a blonde, and you're going to cook the flour flavor out of that. You don't want to get it too dark, and then that's where you're going to add your chicken, veal, or fish stock. So you have different variations of the velouté. The velouté sauce, of course, is a mother sauce of the French cuisine, and thus can be used to create such varieties. And this gives you some of the popular sauces that can be made by using the mother sauce are almond sauce, which is prepared veal stock, egg yolk, and cream, are the ingredients that you're going to add after you start your roux and you put your stock in there, and then you're going to add these ingredients later to make a sauce. Aurora sauce, made by some pureed tomatoes, and one of the most famous sauces for velouté, it is supreme sauce. This sauce is used mushrooms and cream. But look, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to get together, go to the store, and you might already have the ingredients that you need to make a velouté already in your home. Get you a fish. I would say don't use a salmon, but get you some fish stock. Use a fish, or use your chicken. Right? Okay, so look. Let's make a velouté with the chicken stock, right? Get your chicken stock, make your velouté sauce, and make a supreme sauce. So we're going to make this supreme sauce, and you're going to saute your mushrooms, and then you're going to add your mushrooms, and you're going to add your cream, and you're going to make it velvety, right? Once you do that, get you a whole chicken, and use whatever season that you want with your chicken. Bake your chicken, right? Rotisserie your chicken. Don't put it on the grill because that is more of a barbecue. But get your chicken. When it's done, take your supreme sauce and pour it over your chicken. I tell you, it enhances the flavor of that chicken by 550 million times. It is such a great thing. If you never had a sauce with your meal, try it. And then again, it may not be for you. You may not like sauce on your meats, but try it. I'm telling you, like, the flavor profile of having a sauce on your meats is outstanding. It takes you to a whole nother level. It takes your cooking to a whole nother level. And it's common practice when you're competing in a culinary competition and you're making the meats to make sure you have a sauce, because if your meat is not that good, if your meat is not the star of the show, and you come back and your sauce is on point, you pretty much just revived your meat. Like, a good sauce would definitely revive your meat. So, real quick, we're going to go back over to velouté. Velouté is roux base, oil, butter, flour, equal parts. You're going to simmer it until get the flour flavor out of your roux. Now, look, you don't want to add color to your roux, so you have to watch it. You just can't put it in there, stir it up, and leave and wait till it simmer, right? You can't do that. You're probably going to either burn it for one, or it's going to start turning colors and it's going to become not a blonde. It's going to become not a blonde roux. It's going to become a dark roux and everything. You don't want that to happen. So stay there, stir it slowly, whisk it, look at it, and you're going to start seeing it. Or you're going to start smelling the flavor come out of it. Remember, it's going to have to stay white, and then you add your mushrooms or your chicken stock. You're going to add that, and then you're going to add, if you're going to make a supreme sauce, you add your mushrooms, and you add your cream, and you let it simmer. Now, what do we do at the end of every sauce? What do we do at the end of every sauce? We add butter. What is that called? Monty beurre. We're going to mount this sauce with butter. Every sauce you make, you're going to mount it with butter. So at the end of the cooking process, you got your sauce, the consistency that you want. You're going to mount it with butter. Get you some cold butter, cut it up into little squares or whatever. Slowly whisk it into your butter, and oh my God, boom, you just enhanced the flavor. You enhanced everything about that sauce by another 150 times. You can't over flavor your food. So you just added more flavor. You just stack the flavor on top of flavor on top of flavor. So mount it with butter. So your sauce is done. Pour it over your chicken and enjoy with your sauce, your supreme sauce. When I was in culinary school, we did I think it was supreme chicken, where we baked the chicken and we used our supreme sauce, and it was really, really tasty, really, really good. Yeah, so that's a velouté, guys. Remember, when you're cooking French sauces, take your time. You don't have to rush it, because if you do, you can burn it. But yeah, that's a velouté. That's was it number 4 or number 3? Number 3 of the mother sauces. We still have our tomato, and we still have our hollandaise to go over. So yeah, hollandaise, like I said, is my favorite. The only reason why it's my favorite is because I started eating eggs Benedict, and eggs Benedict is just freaking amazing. So that's why it's one of my favorite sauces, because I love how it complements the eggs Benedict on top of the eggs. It's simply amazing. With that being said, velouté, try it. Tell me what you think. Post on my Facebook page, which is Inside the Lunchbox. Tell me what you think about the velouté. Is it something that you would cook for your family? Is it not anything that you don't like it? You don't really care for it? Leave the comments on my page. Yeah. So that's a velouté. Now, before we get up out of here, I want to give a shout out to a couple of my friends. They started a nonprofit organization called Hero Barracks, and this organization is to provide homes or a place to live for all of our homeless vets, even first responders, provide them a place to stay or help them out in a time of need. It's called Hero Barracks. You can look them up, herobarracks.org or herob.org, located here in Conroe, Texas. Go online, shoot them a donation, support them, because what they're doing it for a good purpose. They're trying to help the homeless veteran community. They're trying to do as much as they can to make sure that our veterans and our first responders are taken care of, because our veterans seem to get overlooked sometimes. And a lot of these organizations now that are out there, they're a bit confusing. From my experience at one point needing some help, is that you get to run around. You go to one organization and they tell you, well, we can't do anything for you, but here's this organization. You get that organization, well, we can't do nothing for you. Then they send you to another organization, and then they send you to another organization. And then, or they give you these qualifications for this. You have to be a disabled vet. You have to have X, Y, Z, and you have to be this age, and you have to be that age, or you have to be this rank, or you have to be, and it's just so much that has to be required. I guess I see things differently. Why does there have to be stipulations? If you are a veteran in the United States Army, no matter what branch of the military you're in, and if you're in a time of need, or if you need assistance or you need help, you should be able to get it, and it should be no qualifications or no standards. I get it. There's rules to everything. I understand. And those rules need to be followed. But you're putting stipulations to only helping certain people that are veterans. And I think these guys are trying to eliminate that. I'm pretty sure their goal is to help in every veteran that they can, without all the political or without all the excess stuff that they need. If you're a veteran, come. If you're a first responder, retired veteran, you're in need, come. They're going to help you. So definitely check out Hero Barracks, located here in Conroe. Started by a few of my good friends, Steve Areola, his wife Michelle, Jimmy, and his wife Mary came together and started this organization. And Steve is a retired, I think, a 05 in the Navy. Michelle was also in the Navy. Jimmy wasn't in the military, but he grew up as a military brat. He understands. He's a member of the VFW. He's a major supporter of the VFW. So he definitely understands. His heart bleeds red, white, and blue. And he also loves the veterans. So definitely go out and support these guys. We're working together. Hopefully we'll be able to get one of them on our podcast and be able to sit down and talk about the future of Hero Barracks, and also talk about maybe even providing what type of food they're going to have. But yeah, so definitely give them a donation. Go on their website, help them out. They're just starting out. Well, I don't have anything else for you guys for this episode of Inside the Barrett. Wow. Inside the Lunchbox with your boy, Chef Mac. I don't have anything else for you. So